Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Yuzral's diabolical playthrough of Diablo 3. We'll begin with the spoilers. For those of you who missed the previous episode, Deckard Cain, necromancer, heretic, and general expert conman is dead. Undone by his rivals, or possibly his ex-subordinates, this cult somehow got around without him noticing and without anybody putting the hammer down on it. It doesn't really matter. However, the circumstances are worth relating. The cult wandered into his house, imprisoned him and his niece-stroke-great-niece-stroke-adoptive whatever. We're not sure on the relationship there, and it's best not to think about it too much, and then proceeded to torture them without anyone else in the village noticing either the screams or the cult or the odd lights and sound effects, including the one where Leah apparently went nuclear. Yeah. These are either your typical inbred, misbegotten, blinkered, three-quarters deaf peasants, or the village came with some really good soundproofing when they rebuilt it, in which case you have to ask why. I mean, darling, could you turn the soundproofing up? The undead are eating the neighbours at number 16 again. Yes, of course, dear. Those screams are indeed disrupting our efforts to get to sleep. Indeed, I hope they don't come for us next. It would be most inconsiderate of them. I have to go to work in the morning. Alternately, they're just so used to screams, particularly from Leah, emitting from that house at unusual hours, that they didn't bother to bat an eyelid, and that is probably not a scenario I want to explore in any great detail. Right, now then, let's see if these gloves drop anything useful. We might as well get some better gear. Armour 7 was all very well and good 6 levels ago, but I don't think it's going to cut it anymore. Yes, mind you, a lot of this stuff in the drops section is actually on a par with or better than what I can get for crafting. Now, I'm not sure if that's deliberate. Oh, hey. No, definitely not an improvement. Can't use wands anyway. Alright, let's just see if we can train him. Nope, too much gold. 4,000 gold! My god, and I thought textbooks were bad when I was a student. Alright, replace that. Now, yeah, may as well just strip that stuff down for parts and see what we get when we come back. Hopefully we'll have a bit more cash. Alright, on to the caverns of Arachne. It's Giant Spider episode, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it here first. This will be fun and probably rather icky as well. Traditional giant spiders. Webs, too many legs, maybe the odd bear trap, I don't know. Hopefully not. Those things never end well when you mix them with spiders. Alright, what's the quickest way back to Wortham from here? Maybe the docks, or maybe not. Oh, of course, there's that teleporter in the church, isn't there? Yes, I'm not thinking straight. Or I just decided to go for a run. I mean, this chap's pretty scrawny. Got to build up the leg muscles somehow. Up, 2, 3, 4, up, 2, 3, 4, up, 2, 3, 4, etc., etc. Right, teleporting. They've got a really good mass transit network here. Makes for decently short commutes if you can get access to it. Right, chapel cellar, which mysteriously still hasn't burned. 23 gold, and Virgil's still dead. Hang on, didn't I check his corpse in the last episode? How did I miss a short staff? Virgil's short staff of Starlight, I think it was. Actually, no, let's not go there either. That just opens up too many possibilities, and at least 3 of them will get me banned off YouTube if I decide to mention them explicitly. Alright, the town gate. Well, the cult shouldn't be too hard to find, I suppose. Just have to follow the trail of dead villagers. Obviously, we'll liberate their spare change as we go. They don't need it anymore. Okay, is there anything this way? No, that's just a side area. Game's gone linear again, which I suspect suspect may be deliberate. It's always going to be personal taste, isn't it? If I think something is relatively confined and linear, then someone else is going to say it's focused, it's directed. If you go for an open air area, someone's going to say, oh, there are too many side paths and it's too easy to get lost. However, what is that? Okay, that must be where the Sword Hill landed. But we're closer to the cave than we are to the village, so if the cult's based in the cave, why didn't they get to it for spiderwebs? Big spiderwebs. Undoubtedly made by very big spiders. I'm getting the impression the cult only used this as a highway.
Her music echoes from beyond.
Okay, does he have anything else useful to say? No, he doesn't. Caverns of Arane. Cocoon. Yeah, it's spider time, ladies and gentlemen. Can't say I'm surprised. Thank you. We guessed that one about 6 minutes ago. Right. Eggs. Lots of eggs. Well, that folded fast enough.
One of the oldest and most adaptable creatures in the world. It also seems to have acquired an unfortunate susceptibility to magic. When exposed, the arachnids will increase dramatically in size and even cast spells. Due to this hazard, I recommend staying out of dark places whenever possible.
Yeah, could you mention that before we wandered into this cave?
But their presence should be a warning for travelers. For wherever there are spiderlings, there will be matriarchs, and the fully grown arachnids are extremely protective of their young. The spiderlings themselves possess strong appetites, allowing them to do considerable harm to a cornered adventurer.
So, basically, they're like any kid. They'll eat whatever's put in front of them and come back for more. Unlike most kids, however, they're not picky so long as it's still meat. Oh well. Let's see. Tweak the skills. Ironically, I think we're going to stick with what we had before because that combination just works. Radioactive zombie green poison dogs. I suppose it's better than standard non-radioactive green poison zombie dogs. And they double as a handy light source. Maybe. Yeah, that sounds like good advice, doesn't it? Right. Ooh, shiny. Very shiny, in fact. Let's just hoover up, and let's see, we can disturb that egg, but pop. Nothing in it, which is a bit of a shame. Let's roll back on, and again, don't disturb the eggs on the way out. Little spider-flavoured lamites. How come he gets a free pass? Ugh. Right. Well, hey, it's an ambush. Good, that means that bag's got something useful in it, and these guys are just going to fall over and die. Thank you. Okay. Check the bag. Make sure that nothing else is going to hit us first, and...
Ordinary, untouched, until her voice came to me. Then I knew how I must serve. I must kill the one who threatens my mistress and the dark power that created her. I have been chosen.
Yeah, okay, care in the community is clearly a raving success in the world of Sanctuary. Right, toddle on. Let's see, this looks fairly promising, if only because we're being jumped by spiders. So, basic MMO design again. If the developers are throwing enemies at you, you're probably heading the right way. Particularly if you're triggering ambushes and scripted stuff like this, rather than just random respawns. Right, down the stairs, along we go. Ah! Treasure goblin, get back here. Come on. Get back here. Pop, 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 pop. Good doggies.
Some devious little goblins have been robbing our merchants. When pursued, they simply open portals and disappear with the most aggravating chuckle. The peasantry seem to believe that the goblins serve a great demon. Someone help me!
He might be useful. Let's see if we can fail horribly at saving him. Yeah, that probably shouldn't have been a surprise at all, should it? Let's get rid of the breakfast club here. And then, chests. Let's see what's in these. Shoot the lock off. That's my excuse and I'm sticking to it. Alright. A few dozen gold and some junk that we can sell. What do we have here? Oh, spiders. Just what I've always wanted. Alright. What do we got? Latest voodoo Barbie and some more random junk. Well, I suppose we can use it for parts. And more members of the Breakfast Club. Well, I suppose by the time this is done, we're more or less going to have driven the whole species to extinction. Not a bad thing in this case. Right.
It is of the utmost importance that we secure my manor from the traitorous rabble in Tristram. The caves to the east are too close to my land. They must be blocked, completely obstructed. I believe the Archbishop Lazarus has magically bound some arachnids of late. They may serve us well.
Or they may not. What was wrong with just getting a few guys with pickaxes? Do they have dynamite in this universe? That would solve the problem even better, but hey, we do know that he was pretty much barking by the time he wrote that one. Anyway, toddle on, Breakfast Club episode 3. How many sequels are we going to have, I wonder? Hopefully not too many more. Yes, apparently it is all, and I wish you'd stop saying things like that. It's just tempting fate. Now then, shinies and spiderwebs. And more spiders. Yay for experience. I'm going to add a note here that this is all starting to feel a little samey. We have, after all, got little spiders, medium spiders, big spiders, toxic spiders, spider eggs, spiders, and more spiders with a side order of spiders for those of you who haven't yet acquired a nasty case of arachnophobia. In some respects, you may say, well, this is obvious, we're in a colossal spider cave. Well, yes we are, but bear in mind that we were chasing a cult through this spider cave. Would it have been utterly beyond the bounds to mix things up a little by having us encounter the occasional bunch of cultists left behind to slow us down? Just mix the enemy types up a little, so you don't get the feeling of, oh hey, bats. I withdraw my earlier comment. Can we have some more bats, please? Pretty please. Apparently not, but we get a really big spider instead. Really big in the game context, of course. It's no bigger than any of the others in the physical sense, but apparently it was an exploding spider. And it wasn't that monstrous. Come on, it was only a tiddler by the standards of the kind of mobs we have been killing off. Honestly, Templars, kill one rat and you think they'd killed up an entire pack of rodents of unusual size. So, let's carry on. How much of this map have we cleared anyway? How much more is left of this map, more to the point, and that perhaps is the key thing that I'm getting to the point of thinking, you know, where's this cave we're supposed to be finding? Have I gotten completely lost? Am I just methodically clearing out every side passage? The answer to that one, of course, is yes. Woohoo! Bats, 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 bats. Oh dear, we've killed all the bats. Right, back to spiders then. Now I think... yeah, probably just head north like this. Map's kinda joining up. I think we must pick every single path here but the correct one, and yay for ghouls. Now this either means that Blizzard's sense of timing in these levels is impeccable, or I'm just getting a bit lucky, because every single time that I've started moaning about a lack of variety, in the enemies in a given area, we promptly get something, if not new, then at least interesting enough to keep things going. More spiders. Yay for spiders. Of course, as I think I've said before in previous episodes, not that I can say anything before in later episodes, so that was a tautology to start with, the whole gameplay mechanic is Gauntlet 2012, really. I mean, those of you who remember that good old 80s game, Wizard Needs Food Badly! Oh, wow, that was fun. No one ever played the Wizard, that was the ironic thing. Most of the people I play with, generally we had fights over the Elf and I think it was the Valkyrie. Then it was the Warrior, because at least he could stand toe-to-toe, and the Wizard just kind of got left for last. Mind you, I was about 6 years old, so tactical judgments may not have been all that. Now, how much of this map is left? Oh, well, we are going round in circles, aren't we? Not that it matters, more Spideys. Peter Parker is crying into his milk. Come on, we must have made a wrong turn somewhere. Where on earth? Ah, there's a little bit of map down there. This is another unwinnable situation for Blizzard, of course. If they put an objective marker in, then everyone will just barrel off to the objective and miss all the side plots. If they don't put an objective marker in, as they haven't done here, then everyone spends ages wandering around trying to find the objective, and it's kind of, oh, this is boring, this is getting samey. I suppose all they can really do is mix things up every 15 to 20 minutes of gameplay or so, and try and keep the ADDs satisfied that way. However, we have a side corridor that's very definitely back onto a linear path. All the branching has suddenly stopped, so I'm guessing we're going the right way. That's usually a good sign. Plus, of course, we're running into mobs, and we have dart-proof eggs. The Dark Giver's armor-piercing mode still requires work, as apparently do the guidance systems on those dire bats. Ugh. This is what you get, ladies and gentlemen, for buying your witch doctoring work from the lowest bidder. Now then, Breakfast Club is just about dead. How many of these little dudes are left? We must have wiped out half the species by now. Onwards we trot. Ambush in 5, 4. Right, they jumped the gun on that one. Fair enough. The day I can predict an ambush down to the second is going to be the day that this game really has gotten too predictable, I suppose. We have a branching corridor here now. Okay, that's a dead end, and that looked like repeated terrain set to me.
With great pain, I must admit that our king is no longer able to separate reason from madness. He orders the caverns to be filled with the Archbishop's monstrous creations, and will hear nothing else. Perhaps the legendary ancients themselves once dwelled there, but now we must desecrate their ruins.
Well, I suppose if you'd actually gone down there a few years earlier and run a proper archaeological dig, you'd know for certain whether or not the ancients once dwelled here. But in any event, they're not there any longer, and let's face it, they kind of succumb to any property rights. For those of you who are saying, but that's a betrayal of modern science, I remind you that prior to about 1970, archaeology basically consisted of find tomb, open tomb, nick anything worth more than a few pounds, shillings and pence. How did you get down there? That's an understatement. It's not kind to anybody. Or anything, including spiders. Yes, folks, the Great Spider Massacre of 2012. To be repeated as many times as I see fit to get to level 60. Well, hey, we're getting there. Of course, there wasn't anywhere else left to go. Now then, let's see what we have. Search for the Chamber of Queen Arachne. Well, we've found it. That's nice. Talk to the woman trapped in the web. This is going to trigger a boss fight, isn't it?
It's horrible. She sucks the innards from her victims. Oh, no, it's too late. I hear her. The Spider Queen is coming.
Spider Queen.
Spider Queen, it's a giant Spider Queen. It's a... Not only was that off key, it was just bad. I won't sing again, I promise. Right, so in the time it's taken me to horribly embarrass myself, we've knocked off a third of her health and she's pegged it. Right, my guess is, yep, we're gonna get zerged. Blizzard do this with every single spider boss they ever do. They did it with Bethtalak, they did it with Anubrican twice. It seems to be very much their thing with spiders. Now, green toxic goop. I'm sure she'd be spitting more of that stuff around if she was actually moving, but since she got hung up on the pets, I'm not complaining. Yay, another Zerg. This is going to be a 3-phase with 2 intermissions fight, isn't it? Okay, spotty, spotty, spotty. Alright. That Templar's just standing there, isn't he? No, he got a poke in. He heroically poked the Spider Queen. Alright, a couple of unidentified bits of gear, 100 odd gold. Nah, not too bad at all, given that was actually a fairly easy fight.
That Archbishop Lazarus loosed a silent terror in the caves near Leoric's manor before he died. He labored for weeks over a group of unusually large spiders.
Thank you. Thank you. Can you please leave this horrible place?
Sounds like a plan. There's nothing worth killing here at any rate. Ladies and gentlemen, I will end the episode here. Until next time, farewell.